All my life, I've faced communication barriers, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about those. I started school when I was 4. I had one of those awful hearing aids that you had to hang around your neck. It was heavy like a brick. Anyway, I went to a mainstream school. That means that there's a mix of people there, a mix of students. So you've got deaf, hearing, special needs, all in one school. There was a group of us deaf students. There was only 11 of us. And then there was absolutely loads of mainstream students. There was all the classes for the mainstream, which us deaf students had to go along to. It was really pointless because I sat there and had absolutely no idea what was going on. However, we had a PHU, which is a partial hearing unit, where a teacher of the deaf would be able to explain to us the things that we felt behind with or hadn't understood in the class. In the class, I would sit by myself. The teacher would be chatting away, teaching everyone, and I'd just sit there twiddling my thumbs, daydreaming, just finding something to busy myself, really. All the hearing children would be laughing, giggling, having little jokes together, being friends with everyone, whereas I was just isolated. The teacher would be writing things on the board, and I'd try and follow. I'd try my best, but no, it was useless. I'd see the words, and I'd know the words, so I'd write them down, but I had no idea what it meant and how it linked to what we were learning. So I'd go along to the PHU unit with my piece of paper, and I'd ask them all. And then she'd, bring it down to my level, really help me understand what the words and what I was meant to be learning. This just carried on. It wasn't going to change. There was no interpreters, no note takers, absolutely nothing. Nothing, zilch. How I managed, I just do not know. I just gritted my teeth and bared it, trundled along. When I went to secondary school, there I got given a note taker in the classroom with me. Wow, this is something different. The teacher would be talking away, teaching, the note taker would be working hard, writing everything down. It's interesting. However, there were still some words in there that I wouldn't understand. Wait, just wait, you can find out after. The note taker would say. So I still had to go to my PHU again and again and to find out what the words meant because, I was so far behind with being deaf. The only benefit really to the note taker was how well my English developed. So I became bilingual. I had so much access to English language as well as BSL. When I left school, I started to look at colleges and courses, didn't know what I was going to do. However, I found one, that looks exciting. Fashion design. I was really interested. But, communication, not really sure how I'm going to manage with that. There wasn't a PHU, I was just like, am I going to be able to go there? Yeah, they all said. Of course, you can have an interpreter. An interpreter, what's that? I was gobsmacked. When I was in my classes, a person, an interpreter, would come along and sign everything the teacher had been saying. It was fantastic. I couldn't believe it. My confidence absolutely went through the roof. When I was at college, due to the interpreter really, I felt so much more included. I knew what people were saying to me. It was all translated to me. It was fantastic. And I was able to create those bonds with the other students. I actually had some friends. My confidence, it was fantastic. My school experience was horrible. I look back and I just don't know how I coped. But college, I really enjoyed it. I was at college for 3 years, but when that finished, I had to obviously go into the world of employment. I had to find a job, which again I faced barriers with being deaf. I ended up getting a job in a wedding dress shop being a seamstress. I'd just mainly focused on the work. Everyone else would be having chit-chat in the background, but obviously I couldn't join in, so I became very work-focused. In the tea and coffee breaks, they'd try and speak to me. I'd ask them to slow down so I could manage to lip read them, or they'd end up writing notes, so they did try. It was nice. Being deaf, I've always had these problems keeping in contact with people and keeping communication, having the friends and the social side of everything. When you write a letter, it takes so long to respond, you don't get to practice the signing. However, now, mobile phones, absolutely amazing. You can send a text and quickly receive a response back. It's instant. I mean, before we had you have email, and I mean, more people have access to computers now, a lot more access. Which just means that your responses are quicker, you can stay in contact with people. I mean, it's nice to keep in contact with my deaf friends, especially now with webcams. I mean, I get to practice my signing, which means that confidence stays high. It's nice to be able to have access to your first language, and webcams and that make that possible. I mean, there is still communication barriers, obviously, but you know what? I hope for the future, and I hope for them to improve even more.